Blue Kool-Aid, guys! We are back, baby. We are back, and we are finally here, giving our Game 1 preview, where the Lions will be hosting the Rams. We have a lot to talk about here on this podcast, previewing this upcoming epic Sunday Night Football game. The Lions return back to Ford Field to defend the Den. The place is going to be, it's just going to be a rip-roaring good time on Sunday night, I feel. So without further ado, let's introduce the Blue Kool-Aid crew that is here. I'm Big Z. Let's get to the rest. We got UJ.
Hey, welcome to the jungle, Lions fans.
Bob.
Hello, everybody.
And last but not least, Rod Dog.
Yo, let's go.
All right, gentlemen. So the Lions will be 3.5-point favorites going to the game this week. But before we get into the game and anything of that nature, just slight injury news update. So pretty much everybody is healthy on this roster, including Jahmyr Gibbs, if you're concerned about him. Hopefully you shouldn't be, because it appears that he will be okay going into week 1, as well as any other injuries that were out there, except for 2 people. Ife Melifonwu, who is some sort of injury. They won't really say what it is, but it's lingering.
They said it was an Achilles injury, Big Z. A lingering Achilles injury.
A tweak, I'm guessing, because they said he's...
It must be like a...
if he's iffy.
Well, because Josh Reynolds, too, I don't know if you've been following his injury on the Broncos. He has like an Achilles injury as well that's kept him out. But Josh Reynolds, former wide receiver of the Detroit Lions. Anyways.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah. You're just trying to make a joke, I think. Well, anyways.
Must be a really funny one.
He has like a tender Achilles. I wonder if it's like a similar injury or not, where like he's able to play if it really came down to it for like the Super Bowl, but maybe not at the beginning of a regular season. I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah. I think he tripped on a meat tenderizer and it caught him in the back of the leg. So
I don't say that one. And Lauren Strickland is also injured.
Lauren!
The undrafted rookie free agent who made the roster. Was it the meat tenderizer at Applebee's that Dan Campbell works at, Bob?
Oh, yeah, that ad. You guys all saw that ad, right?
Yeah.
It was great. It was a great 30-second ad. Yeah.
It was nice.
I look forward to seeing him in a lot more commercials in the future when the Lions are winning consistently and getting out there in the national eye, like Andy Reid has done in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell's got way more personality, in my opinion.
Well, Andy Reid's personality is that he's fat. I mean, it's funny.
Well, I don't know
His
about that.
personality
He's
that
kind of
he
a
has
funny
no
guy.
personality.
No, I mean, like every ad they do with him, it's like poking fun at his weight. Like they use like food to do X's and O's. And
He's known to like hamburgers and cheeseburgers. So.
Yeah, you can tell.
Well, all right. That aside, let's start talking about this upcoming game here that we've been waiting all summer for. Obviously, Matt Stafford coming back to Detroit, and we couldn't think of anybody else better to enter the Lions' Den this week than, of course, our famous producer.
It does put us in a conundrum.
Welcome back to the Lions' Den. You know better than anyone else how this goes, the experiences, up and downs. But you were obviously here before, and you escaped with your life. I hope you can do the same again. But first of all, Kid Jay, thank you for entering the Lions' Den.
Well, we got to let him live. He's our producer.
I was going to say, he does put us in a conundrum when we,
I know.
Like,
let him go. Do we let him live, or do we?
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
So you can live just because you had it. Well,
Producer Kid J. The Rams had quite an offseason, obviously losing their first ballot unanimous Hall of Famer, Aaron Donald. He will no longer be putting on the Rams jersey unless some weird happens at the end of this year. But I don't know. Sometimes these guys come out. But it sounds like he's done for good.
I have, but Big Z, I have his jersey, so I'll be wearing it for him. A gift from the Blue Kool-Aid crew, if you recall.
Yes, right. I do.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Wow! Don't try to soften us up in the Lions den segment here.
He's a dodgy one. You got
see that? He's tricky. This guy. He's tricky.
Oh man, he came ready. Kid J, do you want to sum up for us? I'm happy to if you, but it's your call. What the Rams kind of did this. What's different this offseason? What changes did they make this offseason? Let's start there.
I guess the biggest free agent signing was they signed Jonah Jackson away from the Lions.
Yep.
So now they have the interior of Jonah Jack. Yeah, he is healthy. He is going to be healthy for this game.
I heard he's banged up.
Good.
He's healthy now.
That was my question.
But they're gonna have a beefy interior with Steve Avila, Jonah Jackson, Kevin Dotson, who they traded for at the beginning of last season, who they also gave a big contract to this offseason as well. But and then also they lost their defensive coordinator Raheem Morris, who's now the Falcons head coach, and they promoted Chris Shula, who was the linebackers safeties coach for. He's been there all the whole McVay tenure, but now he's brought up to be the defensive coordinator. The big news right before the 50-man rosters got released was they traded away Ernest Jones, who was their primary I guess sort of star linebacker. He had 145 tackles last year and was kind of the heartbeat of the defense a little bit. So and it was a little confusing why the team did that, but a lot of people suspect that he was going to probably be benched and thought it'd be best for the team that they just moved on since they weren't going to probably resign him after the year anyways.
Why were they going to bench him?
Because they I don't think he must have gotten outplayed in camp by another linebacker Troy Reeder, and there's also another UDFA that had an amazing camp. His name is Omar Spates. He's going to play some linebacker too. And I think the camp reached a point of no return with the team and how it would have worked with since he was a captain last year, would have been weird if they if he was voted a captain and he was still on the 53-man roster and he benched, that would just be kind of awkward. So they kind of knew that he was going to start anyway, so they just moved on. So
wow. They cut a guy just to avoid an awkward moment. They cut him
a little bit. Yeah.
Was Space one of those didn't they have 3 undrafted rookies make the roster?
Yeah, they have 17 rookies in total on their 53-man roster.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot.
That's wild.
That's a lot.
A lot of on the defense side, right? A lot on the defensive side.
A lot of defenders. They have a really good the safety that they got on the defensive side. Cam Kitchens from Miami. He's a third rounder. They're really excited about him, and he had a really good camp. Him and another free agent signing, Cam Curl, are the two big safeties that have really shown out at camp. And I think the Rams
double overhead cam defense there, eh?
It is. And I think
two of
they're
the rookies on defense are two actually that we liked in the draft process. Jared Verse and Braden Fiske, both FSU guys. And oh boy, Florida State could really use them.
All their talent, man.
KJ, what have you been hearing about those two guys?
They've been the two most standout defenders in camp. Jared Verse, I guess, has just exploded right off the field, and he's you can see he's been showing out every single practice and just making an impression. And I think he's going to make a real impact this season, especially on Sunday. And I think he's going to get a sack and a half. That's an early prediction. I think he's going to get a sack and a half
for the year.
For the game. For the game.
Feeling all right?
Year. If he keeps exploding off the field, then we don't have to worry about facing him too much, though. That's good.
No.
Yeah, thank God.
But it's gonna be a really young defense, and I'm a little concerned about the first half of the year where they're gonna be kind of adjusting to this young defense and trying to figure out how to learn how to play. So, and I think it'll be a similar thing how they were last year where they exploded in the second half of the season. But I think the offense is going to be even better this year. They have a healthy Cooper Kupp. Puka Nacua has been injured in camp, but he's going to be healthy. They drafted Blake Corum from Michigan. He's going to be getting he's going to be getting carries. I think taking some away from Kyron Williams. I think he's going to be very, very effective. So I think this offense is going to be even more explosive. They're going to play a lot of I think 2 tight end sets with Colby Parkinson, who they just signed from the Seahawks, and Davis Allen. And I think they're going to be a more power running team. And they did a lot of those concepts last year, and I think they're going to explore that even more this year. And I think they're going to be a really, really good running team.
All right.
They better be, because that's where all the strengths are on that O-line. I don't think those guys grade out too great in the pass blocking, but they all have decent run blocking grades from what I've heard.
You sounded very optimistic, Kid J.
I am very optimistic.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do differently that they didn't do last year when the Lions beat them for the first playoff victory in over 30 years in Detroit?
I think
Great
they're
memory.
going.
Thank you, Rams. We always will thank the Rams. I will always thank the Rams and Stafford for giving me that great memory of their defeat.
I think they're going to. I think they're just gonna. I think they're gonna try a little bit more ball control and try to have more heavier packages to slow down the Lions' defensive line and kind of grade them down a little bit. And they could still like sling the ball with Matt Stafford and Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. And I think Colby Parkinson will add an extra layer to the passing game that was fortunately that was left by Tyler Higbee, destroyed by the evil Kirby Joseph, dirty player.
How dare you? Bite your tongue, sir.
There wasn't even a flag on the play.
come
What is
into
dirty
our
about
house.
it? It was a clean legal hit. If you don't like the rules, change the rules. But
That's what Stafford said, right?
Slanderous.
You're dirty, bro. You know.
Yeah.
He's dirty.
I mean, it's not dirty. If it was dirty, there would be a flag, a fine. None of that happened. So I think
It was
that's
unfortunate, but not dirty.
Hitting a guy after the play, like pushing a guy over the pile and when the whistle's dead. That's not dirty. That's silly, in my opinion. Just because your guy got
factually accurate opinion.
It became dirty. I don't know. We all disagree with you, Kid J. I think America disagrees with you too.
I don't know.
We have the ability to pull America instantly on this podcast, and we just
If you poll the people in Minnesota, they might not agree with you.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
Well, luckily, there's not too many people to pull in LA because there's not, it's not a football town, right?
Yeah.
Wait, I just Googled it. America agrees with us.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, Kid J,
Yeah.
Thank you.
got a question.
Yeah.
Jonah Jackson, you guys paid him a boatload of money as a guard, and now they're talking about moving him over to center. What's that all about?
Yeah, they're trying to I guess they're I think this week they're actually talking about having him be center and Steve Avila be left guard. And I think they're trying to keep sort of the consistency from last year a little bit, because Steve Avila was really, really good as a guard, but he also was playing a lot of center. So I think they're trying to keep the different combinations fresh, and they're trying to stay a little bit consistent from last year. And I know Jonah Jackson has some experience at center from taking over for Ragnow when he was injured in the past. So I think it's going to be it's going to be pretty seamless, and I think it's going to be I think it's going to really improve the offensive line, and I think it's going to definitely be a strength and show out on Sunday.
That experience was one game, by the way.
Yeah, and he hasn't even played more than 100 snaps at center since 2017 at Rutgers.
Eric Decker was asked about it, and Decker was like, "Yeah, I think he played 3 snaps against the Cowboys all those years ago." Or
It's
something.
minimal experience, especially recent experience. And Andy wasn't even playing center all offseason. That's why. What is going on over
Taylor
there?
Decker.
Wait,
Blood Dog. Who's Eric Decker? Isn't he another guy?
Taylor
team?
Decker.
You don't even know your own team, Blood Dog. You don't even know your own team.
Oh,
He's the longest tenure member in the team. You can't remember his name. That's pretty.
I apologize.
And you call
Sometimes
yourself
I slip Freudian. All right.
getting hostile in the
Shameful.
den
Kid J
here.
shaking that over there.
Shameful.
Kid J.
Kid J.
Combination.
Except for I caught it before you corrected it.
He's
so
smoking
it'll
out
count.
there. Kid J.
All right, Rod Dog, do you have a question for Kid J?
I do, actually.
Yeah.
All right, Kid J. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being that you will never have access to any more sports information or data or the ability to watch it ever again, or 10 dying in a fiery plane crash. How scared are you of the Detroit Lions this week?
I think a 10 might be the first one for a dog for Kid J over here.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, I'm pretty scared of dying in a fiery plane crash, so I'd have to say 10.
That's appropriate fear. See, I knew it was a veneer. I knew you were just putting on a little
Because if I die in a
for us, if you will, a little masquerade.
Because if I die in a fiery plane crash, I won't be able to follow sports information anymore. So that'd be
he'll just know it. Like he'll be up there. Like, he'll be able to look down at it and just know it all.
We've lost the basis of the question. How fearful are you of this game, Kid J?
You just had a 10.
I am
terrified.
I am
petrified.
I am more fearful of the I'm more fearful of the Lions offense than I am the Lions defense.
I
feel like the Lions, the Rams could definitely beat up on the Lions defense a little bit, especially since they have so many new pieces and they're getting used to like their first real like game action. And I feel like, like the last year in the playoffs, the Lions the Rams almost came back. The Rams got pretty close. They stopped the Lions offense in the second half pretty well. They only scored maybe
3 points.
10 points, 3 points, yeah.
3 points.
And
you've really been holding on to that, haven't you? That's just like what keeps you warm at night.
Just a reminder, Kid J, the Rams only scored 6 points in the second half last year.
Yeah,
so.
and that was against Cam Sutton. So, feel comfortable about that one.
Yeah,
and
maybe
a different look this year.
Maybe the Lions will remember to guard Puka Nacua this year. Maybe hopefully Aaron Glenn stuck his face on the whiteboard. Maybe drew a couple circles, put a little gold star.
Defenders last year. Hey, Kid J, how about you're bragging about your defense, about how they're all like young, untested rookies, and then you say it's a flaw to the Lions that they have young, untested rookies.
Yeah, Carlton Davis, baby, season 3.
Good point.
Wait, is it good or bad? I'm not sure.
Robertson.
You're using it both ways here.
Well, it's good for the Rams, bad for the Lions. That's how I see it.
That's logical. So Kid J, after the Rams lose in embarrassing fashion, what are you going to be drinking that night? What's your drink of choice? Just drown your sorrows.
Probably some whiskey. Some whiskey. Yeah.
You heard it here. He admitted the Rams will lose to the Lions this week, folks.
They won't though. It'll be a victorious whiskey.
Oh no, you said after they lose.
Well, it sounds like, Kid J, you have a prediction to make. So just a couple of predictions. How good a game is Stafford going to have, and what is your final prediction for the score?
I think Stafford is going to have a really solid game. I think he's going to throw for 320 yards and 2 touchdowns, and the Rams are going to win 27-21.
Oh,
wow. Hey, I think I see the smoke from your pipe behind you there lifting up in the air.
Do you think that Kelly Stafford not being there could affect Matthew's play? She's not going to the game. She's going to watch it from home because she's afraid her kids are going to get booed or something. So, I don't know. Do you think that'll help Matt, without his wife being there, like, to support him?
If anything, he'll be more focused because he'll have nothing to do but sit in his room and watch more game tape, and break down the Lions defense and find the holes from last year.
You heard it, Kelly. You're a distraction.
A new Lions defense, though.
Kelly Stafford, distraction.
Yeah. I don't know. Without his family there, he might be out at Saturday at Royal Oak closing bars with his buddies, So,
yeah.
Could be a different vibe there.
Exactly. Hey, well, there you have it, Kid J.
Down there, Bob.
Send
If you
Calvin
see him, buy him a couple drinks, will ya?
Yeah, we'll do.
Show up at his door. Hey, Matt, let me take you out.
Well, there you have it, Kid J, with the prediction of a Rams victory over the Lions. Delusional, but we still let him produce the pod.
Yeah.
We
let
love
you.
him.
Honestly, sometimes I feel like we should listen more because I just have a feeling he's doing something in there, like slipping positive things about the Rams or something. Who knows?
Yeah, we really got to pay attention to the draft
stay on top.
here after this. Or he's gonna use like AI to do something with our faces or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kid J. You're a brave soul. You are.
Yeah.
And Kid J, you can just kind of hang in the background in case you want to interject throughout the rest of the episode here. But Because you are our producer, so you do stay on during our recording. You'll be the first guy to enter the Lions Den and leave slowly.
Yeah, we'll pretend like you didn't just say all that nonsense going forward.
But as Kid Jay mentioned, let's kind of just talk about a couple things, and then we get into our predictions for the game. But so the Lions won last year 24-23. They were up 21-17 at half. One of the more important plays of the game actually was a deep field goal. Michael Badgley had an over 50-yard field goal in that game, something we didn't see too often. But also a fourth down touchdown from Laporta. Just an amazing atmosphere. I'm glad I hope Detroit, and we know that Detroit will come out and show out for this game as well on Sunday night. They've been waiting all offseason. They know this is a Super Bowl year. We want to be that number one seed. We want to host throughout the playoffs. We don't want to, travel to San Francisco or any of that nonsense. We wanted to go through Detroit because we know if it goes through Detroit, we're going to come out victorious. But anyways, on this game, I really do like the Lions matchup. With Ben Johnson coming back, inexperienced defense. Aubrey Pleasant has a bigger role in the defensive. Aubrey Pleasant, like too, Kid J, bigger role in the defensive coordinator. He's not defensive coordinator, but bigger role in defensive play calling to a degree, right?
Yeah.
Which I love to hear because we know his atrocity.
You hired the wink link that held us back from being great. That is awesome.
He's done pretty good as a Rams coach. So.
That's only because he's being covered up for. Once the things get tough, you'll realize. Or hopefully, maybe. I don't know if McVay will figure it out like Campbell did. Because I don't know if anyone else saw our defensive backs coach being the one fire that was going to just turn everything around. So, got to give Dan his credit there.
Some of the stats that stood out from last year, though, Stafford did have 367 yards, 2 touchdowns. Puka Nacua, 9 catches for 180 yards. On 10 targets, so he didn't miss too much. Obviously, Amon-Ra had that big third down catch, 7 catches, 110 yards. Reynolds had 80 yards for 5 catches for 80 yards
in that game
last year. So Lions are going to have to replace that. UJ, though, what do you think the Lions are going to do differently than they didn't do last year against this Rams team? Because they fired out 14-3 in the first quarter. Then it kind of slowed down, but they pulled out the victory when they needed to.
Well, I don't think they're going to do a whole lot different. I think this offense is going to be so much more finely tuned. I mean, you watch the Chiefs over the years as they've been winning Super Bowls. They just seem to get better and better each year on offense, and we're doing the same thing kind of. I mean, Goff's just getting better, more comfortable. He's getting more weapons around him. I think they're just going to be flowing on offense against a young Rams defense, and I am kind of excited to watch Verse and Fiske, 2 guys I really wanted in the draft. I think they'll be fun, but it is a young defense, and I think we'll be able to exploit them. As far as our defense goes, I think we will shut their run game down, and Stafford will have to pass. But we have a secondary that's going to be a lot better than it was last year, so it's not going to be nearly as easy for him. So I think we got the advantage on both sides in this game. Do you want my score now?
What's that, UJ?
Do you want my score now too, or do you?
No. We haven't gotten our predictions.
Okay,
yet.
well that's.
I just want to get our general thoughts about
my overall thoughts. Okay.
Did you hear him say prediction?
Oh, I didn't say that.
Hell no, I didn't say that yet.
Yeah,
right. But just some general thoughts on the game before we get our predictions.
I don't think strategically the Lions will do anything that crazy, different. But I do think they're going to have an improved defense, which will be the big change. They'll actually be able to cover Nacua occasionally. Not saying he's not going to get some yards, but he's not going to go 9 for 10 for 180 yards or whatever this time. I think our defense is going to have better pressure coming off the line and better defensive backs in the backfield. So
yeah, the aforementioned Ernest Jones had 2 sacks in that game last year too, Kid J. So he had a good game, and they'll be missing that now. But Red Dog, how about you? Your thoughts?
Well, the way you posed it to you, Jay, the obvious answer that popped into my head was 3 words. Sort of what Bob said: stop the pass. I don't think that didn't seem to be a part of our strategy last year for the last half of the season, and it seemed to serve us okay. But I don't think they're going to have to go that route this year. I think we got a secondary that's way revamped. You want to compare secondaries and defenses? I agree with you, Jay. I think we got you guys beat across the board on a roster. Maybe a position or two you might have us, but like you talk about, you got 2 rookie safeties. Well, we got 2 veteran safeties that are super studs, and we didn't just bring in young guys. We brought in a mix of young guys and veterans. I think Carlton Davis and Terry and Arnold and Ennis Drakestraw are all going to make it much harder for Stafford, especially with what we got working up front with Hutch and Aleem. They brutalized Stafford last time. Imagine Stafford having to wait just a fraction of a second longer this year. I think it's going to be a long day for Matty Boy.
I hope he doesn't have to wait half a second longer. I want to have him to wait half a second less. No?
To get rid of the ball to find a receiver open?
Well, yeah, because he'll be getting tackled if he's waiting half a second left.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about
Thank you for
coverage,
clarifying my point. Yeah, Stafford's got to hold on to the ball. Stafford's got to hold on to the ball a fraction of a second longer, and that'll make all the difference. They brutalized him last year, but he got the ball off to open receivers. I don't know how that was unclear, but all right.
I feel you. My thoughts on the game, replacing Reynolds, I'm really looking forward to seeing how J-Mo is used in this game. I think it just, we've been talking about him all off season. Now we're going to actually see it in real time here. Just to see all the different ways that they're going to infuse him and expand his role really excites me. I really look forward also just to the kickoff in this game. If the Lions are going to do anything creative with the new kickoff rules, because we haven't really seen too much creativity from any of the teams yet. But I think because they're just feeling it out and also not wanting to show their hand in the preseason, especially the Lions. Did you guys see the fake punt in high school? I can't remember what the name of the high school was. I apologize, but it was a viral video going across the internet this week where the punter looks like he's about to punt. And instead of punting it, he throws a huge, underhand pass. Imagine, a baseball. You just throw a baseball as high as you can in the air. The punter did this, and he threw it, 30 yards downfield high. It looked like a punt, but it wasn't a punt because he threw it underhand behind, his blockers in front of him. And then one of the players on their team caught the ball. So it was like a 40-yard pass, but it looked like a 40-yard punt to the rest of the defensive team. Awesome. Anyway, it was really clever.
That's awesome.
I could see the Lions trying something like that. Don't look it up. I think it was Harryville high school or something. I don't know, but I love videos like that. Just
you
really
never
creative.
know. You hear why we kept our long snapper this year?
Oh yeah, Hogan Haddon. We forgot to talk about him on this
because they kept him just because he is such an athletic person. He's going to be a weapon on coverage instead of just having your typical doughboy who can snap the ball a million miles an hour. This boy's going to be getting down there taking heads.
Definitely. And there's also one other player I want to mention I think is a key to this game as well. Not my roar of the week, just a key. Amik Robinson. I don't think we've talked about him enough, but I think he's going to be playing a lot of nickelback in this game. I think that's going to allow Brian Branch to move around the defense a lot more.
That's how he's going to torture him with psychological warfare by blasting nickelback at him?
Oh.
Yeah. Well, either way,
Some
I
people
think
consider that torture.
I think the Lions have a lot of faith that he can step into that role and allow Brian Branch to move across this defense a lot more in more creative ways. I think in a lot of ways he is a key to Lions' defensive success this year. If they could shore up that spot a little more and allow more flexibility for the rest of the defense. I'm really excited to see what they do with him out there this week, especially with these receivers of the Rams and Matt Stafford operating. Stafford was great in the playoff game last year. Despite the loss, he was throwing dimes all over the place and making throws that no one else in the league can. It was cool. You can see it in person, especially. These throws are just on the money, ridiculous. I think he's healthy, right, Kid J? There's no injury concerns with him at the moment. I didn't see anything.
Yeah, he was healthy. Yeah, he's healthy. He had a little knee thing and camp for a minute, but he's fully healthy now.
Something happened to his teeth, though.
His teeth?
His teeth?
Has no one seen his veneers? He's got veneers now. It's so bad. It stands out like a sore thumb when he talks now. It's hilarious.
Are you speculating on veneers? Or
no, he has veneers. Has no one seen his interviews? He talks
Jackie,
and it's like a glow stick is in his mouth or something. It's silly. Veneers look terrible. They're way too white.
Resident
dental critic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jackie,
Identical critic. That's me.
when he's given the interview after the game, after they win the game, he's gonna be smiling at the camera, looking right at you. So,
I mean, they're not going to win, so that doesn't make any sense. But I get what you're going for.
Well, all right, let's get into our prediction segment, shall we? So we have 2 prediction segments. Our first one is our roar of the week.
Ooh.
And, of course, is our player that not necessarily will stuff the stat sheet, who will have the biggest impact on the game. And then, of course, our predictions for the actual game, score-wise. So I want to throw our roar of the week over to UJ.
All right. I thought about this one. Boy, you can just go so many directions here with the roar of the week. But I'm going to go, maybe not a popular choice, but I'm going to say Montgomery is going to be my roar of the week. The Lions are going to crush it on the ground, and in the second half, we're going to be running a lot and just wearing the Rams defense down. Monty's going to have 130, 140 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game. I think he is going to be solid, man. And our run game is going to be very productive, along with Jahmyr Gibbs. And so Montgomery is my roar of the week.
Noise.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Beautiful. Montgomery and his over-under rush yards for this game is 54.5, in case you're wondering. 54.5.
Bet the over, bet your house on it.
Oh, wow, okay.
This is not a financial advice podcast.
Thank you, Runtog. You took over. Runtog, what do you got? Who's your roar of the week?
UJ out here trying to get us sued and stuff. Well, I think there's going to be a lot of good nominees by the end of this game for roar of the week. But I think it's going to be a guy who had a really good game in the last matchup, and who's going to have just a little bit more support that's going to go a whole long way. I think by the end of this jersey, Matt Stafford's going to have a nice 7 next to that 9 printed on his chest from all the times Aiden Hutchinson lands on him. Aiden Hutchinson, baby, he's going to go off. I think I'm calling 3 sacks and a pick off of Matty Boy. It's going to be hard to gonna give it to him because it's also going to tee up a couple picks for Terrion, but that's besides the point. So yeah, Aiden Hutchinson is gonna eat. He's gonna eat good. So Aiden Hutchinson is my of the week.
Ooh, yeah.
Hutchinson likes ram. He likes ram for dessert. Huh?
Hey, that he does.
I'm sure ram is a delicacy somewhere out there. I've never had it.
You have to beat them in a headbutt contest first, so it's not easy to harvest their meat.
Yeah, you just got to earn it, right? You got to earn your keep.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
All right, let's go over to Bob.
All right, yeah, gonna be a big day for the Lions. They're gonna show up big, and I think there'll be a lot of laurels to spread around. But my roar of the week is gonna be Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's gonna he's gonna have a big game, like combined yards, like 150 passing and throwing or catching rather, and he's definitely gonna get in the end zone. And then he's also gonna lay a block and spring JMO on a big one. So. It's going to be a big game for Jahmyr Gibbs, so he's my roar of the week.
Nice. All right, we like it a lot. 80.5 yards is his combined rush and receiving yards over under, Bob.
Bet your second house
Take
on
the
it.
over. Yeah, bet your second house. There you go.
Bet your second house.
See, that's a little more reasonable because at least you have a second house, though. You can always go back on the original house.
Your first house is already bet on David Montgomery, so I don't know if you're in a great situation.
Oh, you have a third house.
Situation.
I hope you have a third house so you're making these bets out there.
Well, if when they win, they'll have 4 houses, so it's good.
I mentioned him in the last segment to degree, or not the last segment, yeah, last.
Yes, you did.
Point.
I know who you picked.
But either way, it's going to be Jameson Williams.
J-Mo.
I mean, we talked about him all off season. I'm just so excited. I've stashed him away in every fantasy team, ready for his explosion in fantasy and all that fun stuff. But 39.5 is his over-under receiving yards. I think he's going to way over. I think it's at least 75, if not more. He's going to replace those Reynolds yards plus more. Yeah, it might be the first play, maybe a flea flicker, something along those lines. Take these rookies on the defense to school, Kid J, that the Rams have. I just love that the Lions have this experience on offense with Ben Johnson, everybody come back, and the Rams are young at catching them early in the season. But either way, JMO is my roar of the week.
Yeah, bet your children
All right.
on it on that one.
Oh boy.
I don't even know what that means. Like, what am I
Now we're
getting
all in pretty
return?
much.
Anyways, so let's get into it now. Our ever famous and our first of the year predictions.
Baby.
Sunday
Right.
night football. The Lions are
damn.
kicking off the season on Sunday night. What a way to start the year. The Lions facing the Rams, 3.5-point favorites. Of course, this game is at home. And Jared Goff, in season openers in his career, do you know what he is against the spread? Do you know his record?
No.
It's not 1-0. It's not 2-0.
Over.
It's not 3-0. It's not 4-0.
Undefeated.
It's not 5-0. It's not 6-0. It's 7-0. He's 7-0 against the spread
Damn.
on season
Oh,
openers.
spread.
Kid Jay, does that concern you? I forgot to ask you that. I wanted to save it for the prediction segment.
It does not concern me at all.
Well,
Zero concern.
It should. It should
There's
scare
plenty
the
of things to
living
concern him
daylights
besides
out of you.
that.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, 3.5 over under is 50.5 as well. So let's get into it now. What is
Wait.
everybody's predictions? And we'll
Wait,
start.
can I ask you a quick question, Z? Sorry, I
Whoa.
didn't mean to.
Whoa,
You
yeah.
What?
Go ahead.
Sorry, it was a second there. I was trying to catch you before you started. But like, so does that mean if he beats the spread, we win? In reality, in this case, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're a favorite.
Okay, cool. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Anyways, 3.5-point favorites and our predictions. Let's start with Bob. And Bob, will you be going to the game?
I will be. Yeah. Connor and I will be
Nice.
there.
Let's go.
So it's going to be loud as hell.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure because Detroit is hungry.
will ensure,
hungry for
you
this
mean.
season. Fans are ready for it. So even the preseason, they were showing up. So this is going to be huge. So yeah, I like the Lions in this one. Stafford, always a tough out, so he's going to put up some yards. But I like the Lions winning this one 31-17. And
Wow.
yeah, Gibbs
Let's go.
with the touchdown. And obviously 150 yards at least. But yeah, I like it. And I think
We
the
love it. We
defense
love it.
will be better than it was last year against the Rams. So, but they're going to get some points. So
Definitely.
31-17.
Beautiful. Beautiful. We love it. Let's go over to Rud Dog.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you there, Bob. I think it's gonna be a really bad day for Matty Boy. I don't think he's gonna get any points. I think he's gonna be living with guys in his lap all day between Aleem and Hutch. I think Terrion and Davis and our secondary is gonna make it very difficult with the combination of our pass rush this year. I think they're not gonna know what hit them, and then our offense is just gonna go to work. I'm calling 56-0. Domination, bloodbath, open the season for the Super Bowl in the right way, taking out the would-be contenders, day one, dominance, Detroit Lions. Let's go.
56-0.
All right.
How many touchdowns and extra points is that, Rud Dog? Really quick. I want to test your math skills. Go.
Yes.
It's 8. 8 is the answer. All right, UJ.
That's what I said.
All right. It's funny because Bob, I had the same exact score, 31-17.
Wow.
I have Monty scoring a couple touchdowns, probably on short runs. I have Gibbs scoring one, and I have Laporta scoring one. And our new field goal kicker, Jake Bates, hitting a pretty good long one, maybe 49, 50-yard.
I love it, UJ. I love it.
Good one, a good one, like a
Yeah.
solid.
You can go back. You can go back and make him your roar of the week if you want.
Not right now, but I'm going to stick with Monty on this one. But I see a great performance for our defense. Hutch with a couple sacks, Aleem with a sack, and we get at least one pick off of Stafford in this game. I just think we're just going to be ready for this game, man, in a big-time way.
Absolutely.
And our experience, especially with this offense, good Lord, it's going to be an awesome game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Stafford will get a little bit of his, that's why I'm giving him 17 points, but we're going to just overwhelm him in the end. And in the fourth quarter, you're going to see a lot of David Montgomery coming at you, buddy. That defense just sucking wind and us just running for chunks. So enjoy it, man. It's going to be a great Lions victory, 31-17. My
Let's
prediction.
go.
I like it.
Nice.
That is
I
beautiful.
forgot, Z,
right
before
there.
you do your prediction, I forgot one part of my prediction. At the end, they're going to interview Stafford, and they're going to say, hey, Matt, are you happy for the team? And this time, or happy for the city and the team? This time not even going to say that. He's just going to say, I'm happy we don't have to play them again. That's what he's going to say.
Cold.
Fair enough. I wouldn't mind seeing them in the playoffs again either in Detroit. They're
going to be so beat up that they're just not going to have a chance, though. They're done after one. Sorry, Kid J.
I feel you.
We got to let our frustration out on somebody to start the season.
Well, I am drinking the Blue Kool-Aid going into this game as well.
We'll see.
I think the Lions are really going to move this ball on this Rams defense. I think they are overrated. I think there's a lot of hype for like Sean McVay and somehow that aura transfer to the defense. I don't think this is going to be a very good Rams defense to start the year, like Kid J kind of alluded to in our Den segment. I think they're young. I think the Lions have a lot of experience, especially coaching-wise with Ben Johnson and just familiarity. I think that's really going to be a factor here. So I think a lot of points from the Lions side. I'll give the Rams some credit, but either way, 34-20 I have with the Lions victorious in the debut. This is going to be historic offense from the Lions. The only other team out there that maybe could contend with them is a fully healthy Dolphins or the Chiefs on the season. But I just love everything about this Lions offense. I want to see what they do with the fifth receiver. If Tim Patrick's going to be activated or not for this game. But either way, that's small potatoes. If everybody's healthy in this Lions offense, there's no reason why they can't be one of the best offenses, not just in the NFL this year, but like in the last 10, 20 years, honestly. They have all the pieces there, and I'm really excited to see it against this very inexperienced Rams defense. So we all, yet again, besides our ignorant producer Kid J, have the Lions victorious in week 1.
Big Z, I'm just so proud of you drinking the Kool-Aid, man. You're usually like the skeptical going, well, I think we're going to eat this one out, 21-20 or something like that. No, you're drinking the Kool-Aid, buddy.
Of course I am.
I love it.
The host of them.
Actually, is that the first time there's been UJ, have you ever, not UJ, I don't think KJ's ever picked against the Lions before this one.
He has at times.
Has he?
Yeah, and he likes to think he lives in reality at times. Clearly, something went wrong this offseason where he's not living in reality anymore. I think in the Rams win this game,
definitely made a
nonetheless
good point about the young defense, like Kid J said. They're just young, inexperienced, and they're totally going to flop this week.
Yeah.
They
came off the turnip truck, those guys, young guys.
Well, nonetheless, we have done it. We have gotten through our first
stoic response.
We've gotten through our first preview of a game this season. We have a lot more to go. It's all the way to the Super Bowl. We'll be looking forward to talking about it. But before we head off here, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/@DTBK_Lions. Or just type in Drinking the Blue Kool-Aid. Subscribe to our channel on there. You'll see a lion with a cigarette, smoking a cigarette next to a bowl of kneecaps as our logo. So it should stand out. If you can't find it, just in the URL alone. Instagram at Drinking Blue Kool-Aid, Twitter at Drinking Lions. We post all our episodes on those pages as well. Follow us. Let us know your predictions for Game 1 Sunday Night Football here. We will not. Last year we recorded right after the game. That proved to be a struggle. And anyways, we'll be recording the day after the game and then releasing the episode on Tuesdays. That is if the game is on a Sunday, of course. If the game is on a Thursday, that is TBD. But we don't have to worry about that for a few weeks. But just be aware of that. That we'll probably release our reaction to the Sunday night game and any other Sunday games on Tuesdays. So we have a full 24 hours to kind of dissect what happened, analyze it a little more. We think it'll be a better podcast. So
bask in the glory.
Look for that as well. Otherwise, we want to thank our Lions Den guest / producer, Kid J.
Kid J.
Kid J.
Hey, that was the best one
Every week, he's going to listen to this and say, "Why am I doing this?"
Choices.
I'm
Hey,
Anyways,
just a little shout out to the fans too. This is episode 310, people. So there's a lot of Potters out there now that are like they've been doing it for. We've been doing this a long time, folks.
Potters.
Yeah, Potters.
Potters.
What do they call
We're
them?
like old man.
that was the
podcast.
That was the bad guy in It's a Wonderful Life, right? Mr. Potter.
Mr. Potter, yeah.
Mr. Potter.
He was a Potter.
You're a mean old man.
Well, anyways.
Anyway, thanks, fans.
Speaking of podcasts, please
love you guys.
Get off
download.
my lawn.
Please subscribe to ours or download it on Spotify, Apple, where you get your podcast. It is there. Please find us on there and give us a rating too. We take anything. There's someone that reached out. They had a comment about our podcast a couple weeks ago. I reached out. Hey, come on, come on the podcast.
Yeah.
Said he knew
Come
more
on.
than all
Behind,
three of us.
Don't be a keyboard warrior. We love to have you on here to talk about it, whatever it may be. So
Back it up.
If you're out there, Daryl, I think his name was. Answer me. You're free to come on. Any of our guests,
Fucking Daryl,
our
man.
listeners, reach out to us. You can reach out to us at Drinking the Blue Kool-Aid at gmail.com or any of the Instagram or any of the social medias. If you want to come on, be our special guest, we'd love to have you on as well. So just note that. But anyways, we're going to wrap it up here. We want to thank, of course, our listeners. We greatly appreciate you sticking with us all off season and then all the way leading up to this exciting first game of this Lions Super Bowl season. Let's go! We got a lot of fun stuff planned ahead, folks. A lot of fun stuff.
Oh,
So thank you, everybody, for listening. And last but not least, as always, go!
Go!